everyone, this is another video on one of the very important perspectives of Western political thought. We're going to slightly move towards more radical traditions. So today we're starting with Marxism. As you all know, the term Marxism is derived from Karl Marx, a German economist and philosopher of the 19th century who is also one of the founders of the theory. Here are some of the texts that Karl Marx had written. Some of his work were not published during his lifetime. Marxism emerged as a response to the oppressive conditions created by the capitalist system. In its early incarnation, classical or negative liberalism stood for individual freedom. As political doctrine, it was a defense of certain inalienable rights of the individual, and in its economic dimension, it stood for laissez-faire, or as we know it, free market economy. Liberalism soon became the economic philosophy of capitalism, aimed at protecting and promoting the interests of the bourgeoisie or the capitalist class. It failed to create conditions for individual freedom. Instead, it generated tremendous economic inequality and consequent injustice. As a result of this negative fallout, the most virulent and systematic attack came from Karl Marx. The Marxian attack on liberalism and capitalism was further carried on by Lenin and Mao. While Marx laid the theoretical foundations of this change, Lenin and Mao successfully modeled their respective societies, that is, the former Soviet Union and the People's Republic of China, by adapting the principles and postulates of Marxist theory to the conditions prevailing in their countries. This is one major strength of Marxism. Furthermore, the theory and practice of Marxism have undergone several changes since its original Marxian formulation. For the purpose of this video, we're going to aim at familiarizing with some of the most significant aspects of Marxism, particularly with the ideas of Karl Marx. Some of the major tenets of Marxism, therefore, are alienation. Karl Marx criticized capitalism because it leads to alienation of labor. Alienation, in simple words, implies dehumanization or the loss of self. The worker in a capitalist order works in a mechanical manner and does not derive any pleasure from his work. His labor becomes a commodity which he must sell in order to survive. Thus, he gets alienated from his work, the product of his labor, his fellow workers, and from the natural world. Marx advocated that it is only in communism society that man will return to his real self as free creative agent and the work will no more remain monotonous activity. Private property is the product and consequence of alienated labor, and therefore its abolition will lead to redemption of man from his alienated state. The doctrine of historical materialism constitutes the core of Marxian writings. It is the main theme of Marxist German ideology. It seeks to explain all historical events in terms of changes occurring in the mode of production. The mode of production consists of the forces or means of production, land, labor, capital, machine tools and factories, etc., and relations of productions, slave master, serf baron, and proletariat capitalist. The economic structure of each society, which is constituted by relations of production, is the real foundation of that society. It constitutes the base, on which rises the legal, political, and ideological superstructure, and to which correspond definite forms of social consciousness. At a certain stage, the forces of production outgrow beyond the relations of production and get out of tune with the existing relations of production which fetter the former's growth. This contradiction between the classes which owns the means of production and class which owns only labor power. When this class war reaches a high water mark and contradictions become intense, it is resolved through a social revolution which ensures newer and higher relations of production corresponding to the forces or means of production. Marx's contention is that the state in a capitalist society is a vehicle of class rule. It follows from this argument that if classes are abolished and a classless society comes about, then the state will become redundant and gradually it will wither away. Surplus value means profit. Marx's argument is that the worker produces social objects, which are sold by the capitalist for more than what the worker receives as wages. Thus, the worker is not paid for the whole of his labor that he spends in producing the social commodities. Marx further argued that it is only in class-based societies that surplus value exists because the bourgeoisie class exploits the proletariat. The bourgeoisie consists of those who owns the means of production, that is land, capital, factories, etc., while the proletariat consists of those who own nothing but their labor power, which they must sell in order to survive. As the surplus value increases, the worker gets paid less and less. This gives rise to sharp contradiction between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, which is resolved finally in a proletarian revolution. This revolution will bring about the demise of capitalism. The proletariat will capture the state power, after which Marx visualized a brief period of dictatorship of the proletariat. It is during this dictatorship that the society would usher in socialism, where each will work according to capacity and get according to work. And finally, communism, where each will work according to capacity and get according to the need. Thus, Marx views communism as a classless society of associated producers. That was it, guys. Thank you for choosing this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you liked the video. I hope it was able to give you a brief understanding of what Marx's idea was all about. If you liked the video, keep liking it, share it for more videos. Thank you.